Good afternoon and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures, where I'll be chatting about things miniature related, EvilGinger related, and anything that comes to mind while I'm doing the recording. This is in lieu of my normal live stream on a Tuesday. I had to delay it because I was having some equipment set up yesterday, and today I'm using OBS for the first time to record a proper video. Did a little bit from the beta site last week. Not particularly happy with it, as I got a lot of background noise, and the one I ended up posting was very short and not very much to the point. Unfortunately, I couldn't get rid of copyrighted material that was also recording. I was in the same premises as a very deaf lady who was listening to daytime television at some volume. So for today, this is again another test recording because I've not played with OBS that much, even though I have done some of the tutorials. So what we're going to be doing is a general chat. Coming soon to EvilGinger will be, as you know, I've pretty much stopped doing commission work now, and I'm passing a lot of it on to Orchid Panda, who is doing assembly work for me even now. I'm off to Antwerp at the end of the month to go and cause a crisis, because somebody's got to. Now the Lardies and Annie don't go over there to do that, so that will be a thing. There'll be lots of pictures coming back. I don't know whether there'll be a video. I'm only taking the laptop. I'm possibly not taking the laptop, just the camera. This thing does very nice 27-minute videos, and if I can work out how to edit them properly, there will be videos of what I'm doing. It theoretically takes longer than 27-minute videos, however, not managed to work that one out, and you're just going to get multiples of them, and I might have to stitch some of them together. But I think 27 minutes is a bit long for YouTube, unless you've got the sort of format that some of my people I follow have, where it's several hours, sometimes over 9, but we shan't be doing that on these sorts of streams. It's going to be an hour at the outside. Now have a working area, as per the photograph that is going to be the thumbnail for this. The tiles, by the way, are 15 centimeters square, so you can see how big a working area I've ended up with. And I will be using that as of tomorrow, because I've got things to assemble and start painting. I can paint here. The light's not too bad. I've not got the lights on, but there's a uplighter over there with 250 watt bulbs, and there is an uplighter over there with another 250 watt uplit bulb in it, and there's the overall headlight, which is 250 watt, and just behind the screen here there is a little spotlight that I can scroll down on here over the screen. I'd have to fiddle about with it to get it to do that, but I've only just put the screens up and got them organised, so that's where we are with the screens. I've got a secondary screen, so if I do streaming in the future, I can actually have the chat out on the secondary screen and the primary thing directly ahead of me. I have StreamYards for that. I'm also playing with StreamYards for that purpose. I'm also planning to do an interview with Orchid Panda at some point in the near future when they've got themselves organised. I am organising them because they're not an organised person. Neither am I, but I have learnt the virtues of organisation over the years I've been doing this sort of thing. Need to sort the shelves out behind me. They're a bit untidy, and I need a lot more plastic boxes to sort stuff into. The 4-litre ones you can see behind me. You can see there's one of them that's got, I think over that side, that's got figures stacked on top of it, and there's all sorts of other stuff that shouldn't be in that racking, like the wrapping paper and the wrapping stuff, and random tools and glasses, which again don't need to be there, but the forever tidying up. I mean, I only hoovered the floor for the first time last week when I got the electrics done, and that was months of debris that I got rid of that I couldn't hoover because there was just that much cableage across the floor. I now don't have much cableage across the floor. All the lighting stuff is at the back, and out the way. The air conditioning stuff is out the way. Well, we call it air conditioning. It's the UK, we don't have air conditioning. I have a tower fan. When it gets hot, it blows air in here and cools it down a little bit. But yeah, it's the UK. We don't do air conditioning. We do houses that are meant to withstand the cold and the northern winter. Not that it's not that it's actually that vicious over here, but it's nothing I can't wear a sweater to deal with anyway, because I am, cold adapted dwarf type person. Anyway, that's that. I'm also going to be doing another series on role-playing games, which might interest some of you and might not interest others, mostly because my lovely friend Guy has been wearing away at me on a diceless role-playing game that he is heavily involved in promoting. So we'll be doing that. We'll also be doing games that I like Dragonheart, which for a game created by a load of entertainment professionals is actually quite good. And of course Hackmaster and D&D, Hackmaster being first edition D&D done by people who know the right rules and who've actually play tested it, which is rather more than the original first edition D&D, which I have the grey hairs to prove that I was about when it was going on, and I played it. I played pre-first edition D&D. It existed. It was what later became basic, and you couldn't get above third level in the set. Might even run B1 as a solo dungeon for the nostalgia value. Other than that, painting is hit a little lull, because it always does at the end of a project. You may have seen that I've posted some World War II tanks, which was the last of a commission that I'd had lingering around during my mental health issues last Christmas, and which I finally got done. I've got some other things to do which have been lingering around from that sort of time, including some marketplaces for, I think, Guards of Traitors Toll, and a few other bits. By the way, the hiccups are Coke, not anything else, and no, I haven't put any brandy in it. I only put brandy on it when I'm very, very, very needing to go to sleep. So that's that on there. I've got a Hobgoblin army to build. I've got a build and convert. I'm also trying to find someone who'll do some Sasanian heads, with the globe caps on them and the beards, because I've been staring at a sprue of the army builder that Wargames Atlantic came out with a while back, for generalised Dark Ages people, and I realised that Sasanian level levy spearmen would look quite trousers and tunic with a belt, with a rope belt, is very or cloth, folded cloth belt, is very much Sasanian level levy spearmen. And from the old days, I am perfectly aware of the 950 point Wargames Research Group 6th edition armies where you had to have 50 points of the damn thing sitting on a hill, but because they were such a liability, you sat them on a hill well out of trouble and did the fighting with the 950 points of decent troops that you had. The Cataphracts and the Horse Archers and the to a lesser extent, the infantry skirmish. Even beat late Romans, the super army of that rule set with those. So I was chuffed by that, but I don't have my Sasanians anymore, and I thought about building one, and of course the army builder thing would be ideal for that sort of thing. Going to get some work done. You're probably going to be seeing it on video because I can set that up and I can angle the camera so that it can see the floor, see the bit. All you're going to see at the moment, if as I do that, is you can see the bit in front of me, which has currently got the keyboard in it, which is going to be where I'm going to be working for now. The workshop is going to be cleaned up. I have a team. Don't laugh. I have a team coming in to help with the warehouse because I just work out because I sit there and go, oh my god, and the depressive urges start coming back. This monitor, which is refusing to cooperate, is probably going down there. I might be using an ancillary to my laptop or a crappy old computer, so I can actually record stuff down in the workshop when I've got space to put something. I have got lots of crappy old computers floating around here, some of which were quite good games computers 10 and 15 years ago. And all of those are gifts to the mill. I also need to organise my new computer with a SD card reader, as the camera works on SD cards, and the on that has been knackered continually. I've had it fixed. It doesn't last very long. I don't like it's also theoretically supposed to charge through that, but you take the battery out and charge it in a proper charger. Again, that's plugged in behind the filing cabinet, which is off to that side. And I almost have lost the plot as to what I'm actually doing. So, plans are more painting, more modelling, stuff you can see, stuff you can watch potentially, if you want to watch along with me. Live streams are going to be not a thing until next January, when I'm past the accounts. I've done my accounts for the year, and I've also got myself a television license, because that apparently you need to stream nowadays. Didn't know that. Thought you could stream and watch certain things, but apparently the law has get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, because the BBC needs its money. Not that I ever watch the BBC nowadays. It got far too political in a way that annoys me. So I think that's pretty much me for this evening. There's lots of potential coming. There's a role-playing series to come. There's more painting and modelling to come. And then there will be expansions of the Etsy shop, which I will feature as I do things to expand the Etsy shop. Etsy shop is going very World War II at the moment, because I really loved those Blitzkrieg tanks and vehicles, and I might do some ready-made armies for people to buy. And again, I can do that in my way without people breathing down my neck. I know it's not intentional, but people breathing down my neck does actually stress me out horrendously. And what we've got over here, I stare at the thing and I wonder what I'm seeing. I also don't know which left from right. And of course, oh yes, there'll be yet more Landstecks and Swiss. Though Orchid Panda are going to be doing some Swiss for me, because I have post-traumatic Swiss disorder, thank you, John, and I'll be doing more on that. You've seen me mention this before. It's a great looking game, and as soon as I get the printer worked out, which is the next stage of office upgrade, I will be doing that. And again, I'd like to film that downstairs, because there is rather more room in here than an office which cannot legitimately fit a 3-foot wide or even a 2'6" single bed. It's been tried. You can just about fit a camp bed in there, and I shouldn't have put that back on camera, because it demonstrates quite what a clumsy so-and-so I am. Strange to have high-level motor skills in one thing and then not have them in anything else at all. Anyway, I think that's enough of me wumbling on for the day, and I'm going to hopefully fiddle about with this on OBS as a bit of practice, and it will be up at the usual time this evening. Take care, everybody, and goodbye. Me.